Okay, Bismillah. Okay, so continuing on the sources of the Sirah, so we talked about the Quran being the source, but it's not detailed. Then we talked, and comes to it from an emotional point of view. Okay, because Quran is a wa'az, it's a counsel, right? It's telling you, it's not detailing out. It's telling you how to feel, how to behave. Hadith, which is just snapshot information, no narrative form, right? Then there's the battle stories, maghazi, which people wrote about or talked about a lot, narrated. I don't know, it's a little bit warm. If you can look at the air, maybe it's just me. Then we looked at the Ibn Ishaq, and we understand same time frame as Imam Malik, and how he was lax about collecting, okay? And Sirah Ibn Hisham, which is now the abridged version, which you all have access to. I can actually show you. Ibn Hisham. Right here, Sirah Ibn Hisham. I just want you to visualize it. It's available on internet for free. It's right here. For example, let me just show you how does the book start. Muhammad was the son of Abdullah bin al-Muttalib, whose name was Shayba bin Hashim, whose name was Amr bin Abdul Manaf bin. So you know the lineage of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam all the way to Adam alayhi salam. What is it authentic? Okay, so what is not understood to be authentic is his lineage all the way to a person named Adnan. This is why the name Adnan is a very common name. My name is from that. From Adnan to Ismail alayhi salam is unauthentic, and from Ismail to Adam alayhi salam, super unauthentic. I mean, it's not confirmed, you know. The sources are different. I don't want to say unauthentic. When I say unauthentic, just understand I'm not rejecting it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's unconfirmed. Okay, there it is. It's a lot of pages. Everything you would have ever heard, you can Google for this and just go right to it. Feel free to go through this, okay? But know where it's coming from. Now we go into this book, alhamdulillah. I feel comfortable. Right? It's 600 pages, right? This is small print, okay? So you can find about the Bahira monk and what happened. This has a lot of different narratives of the Iqra stories. There's one narrative and second narrative, and there's differences, okay? Some has some detail, which is bizarre detail. Alaykum assalam. Great. Then what are some of the other sources? Tafsir literature. You can actually derive a lot of seerah from. The stories of the prophets we get from the tafsir literature. This is how, for example, when you hear the stories of the prophets, people say, oh, this happened. How do they know all of this stuff? Well, where does the tafsir literature get some of this information from? Is it all Quran and Sunnah? No, they also get it from Israeliyat, from Hebrew Bible. Some of the sources are Hebrew Bible, because there was a lot of Jews that converted to Islam, and then they used to tell the stories of what they heard. Sometimes the students got confused. At least this I know about Ibn Abbas, for example, that the students either were confused. Well, I'll just say this much: students were confused whether whatever Ibn Abbas is saying is coming from what he heard from Rasulullah or what he learned from one of his teachers who used to be Jewish. Okay. Wallahu alam. Anyway, the advanced stuff, but I just want to tell you some of the sources. All right, now let's go to Sirah. Everybody ready? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in this. The whole goal is to kind of just give you, my whole goal is to make Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam human for you, and not this figure that we have in our mind growing up, where we hear something and it shakes our iman. It shouldn't. He was a human being. Okay. All right. Nuh alayhi salam, we don't know how far away Nuh alayhi salam was. Before 5000 BC. Okay. Probably 8000, 12,000 BC. Okay. We are not restricted by time, as opposed to, for example, Jews and Christians who only believe that the earth was created 6,000 years ago by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So all those prophets before Musa alayhi salam came between 6,000 to 4,000 years ago. It's not true. Okay, scientifically it's not true. We don't have to. It's not part of our aqidah. That timeline. It's part of their aqidah. Okay. So Nuh alayhi salam. I'm talking now about ancient Arabs, ancient Arabs, prehistoric Arabs. There were, after Nuh alayhi salam, there was Ad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Qawm Ad, which was southern Yemen, and then Thamud, which is not southern Yemen, I mean southern Arabia, and Thamud, which is understood to be northern Arabia. So those were some of the nations that were also destroyed. So those were gone, but there's actually, was Ibrahim alayhi salam Arab? No, he was?
Syrian, Ashurian.
Yes, he was from Iraq area. Okay. Okay. Ibrahim alayhi salam was not Arab. So there are two types of Arabs. They're called Arab Ba'ida, and Arab al-Baqiyah. Okay, Ba'ida are the ancient Arabs that have gone, right? The Ad and the Thamud and all these people. Okay, the people of Shu'aib alayhi salam, they're gone. There's the remaining Arabs, okay, that came from different places. Long story short, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to leave his Hajar alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam in Mecca. Okay, Ismail alayhi salam, when he grew up, he got married to one of the tribes that were going, they came from Yemen. Ibrahim alayhi salam didn't speak Arabic. He was not Arab, right? Where did he learn? How did this whole Arab thing begin? There were these tribes that came from southern Arabia. They're called Arab al-Ariba. They spoke Arabic. They're called Ariba because they taught Arabic in a sense. Okay, just rough translation. Ariba, the Arabizing Arabs. Okay, that's the accurate translation. The Arabizing Arabs. Why is this important? This is important. Okay. So remember, I was talking about the Baqiyah, the ancient Arabs gone. The ones that are remaining are the Baqiyah. There are two major sections in it. So the ones who were Arabizing others, teaching them Arabic culture, they are the Qahtani Arabs. Okay, they are the Qahtani Arabs, and the other Arabs are, this is all the ones remaining, are called the Adnani Arabs. They come from the Adnan side. They're called Musta'ariba. They're the one who became Arab as a result of the meeting with the Qahtani Arabs. Make sense? So Ismail alayhi salam, guess who he got married to? A Qahtani. He was not Arab, he was a Musta'arab. Right, and he got married to an Ariba, right, an Arabizing spouse. So that, understand? If you got confused, it's okay. I just wanted to give you an idea if you were following along. So the lineage of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam eventually is known to be fact because this was preserved by the Arabs. It goes all the way to Adnan, who was a Musta'arib, right? Okay, so the Quraysh is part of the same. So there's exactly 20 predecessors from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, exact 20 generations to Adnan. We don't know how many generations between Adnan and Ismail alayhi salam. We have no idea. No idea. Okay, it's been recorded in Sirah ibn Hisham, but you understand, it's not confirmed. Nobody can confirm it. What was the time frame of Adnan? I have done some estimates and basically look at this. Adnan from Ismail, 123 Anna Domini. Obviously, I'm not speaking in Hijrah term right now because it makes no sense to do that, right? So year 123. When was Isa alayhi salam around? the Christians got their date wrong, right? So Isa alayhi salam, I think it's about 70 AD. Okay, they got their dates mixed up a little bit. So it's later than what they actually think. Okay, so around that time, like Adnan was around the time of a little after Isa alayhi salam, or around that time, just to kind of give you a time frame. Okay, so from Adnan, and there are a lot of people, like 20 to up to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we're going to talk about. So there's one from them is called Fihr. Fihr, it is understood to be his nickname was Quraysh. So that was him, a person. Quraysh was a person. All Quraysh stemmed from Fihr. All of the tribes that we learned about when we read the Sirah, all of the tribes, the Banu Khuza'a, Banu this, Banu this, Banu this, Banu that, Banu Thaqif, Banu Hashim, and all of them, they all come from Fihr. Okay, so that's how they come. So Arabs, one thing that they were big on was genealogy. That was huge for them. Why? Not because they just liked that science, because they were very tribal. So in order to form alliances and allegiances between tribes, for them it was important. Where are you? Are you my cousin? Sixth cousin? Whatever. It was extremely important to them, and protecting each other, because it's a law of the jungle, essentially, right? When it comes to fighting. Okay. Then Qusay, yes. Oh yeah, it's bigger than this? Okay, all right, yes. Around 400 AD, and this is relatively accurate based on the information that I found on the internet. Not that it's authentic, I'm just saying I think it's relatively accurate. 400 AD, okay? Qusay bin Kilab. Qusay, chief of Quraysh, okay? So Arabs were all spread across the Arabian Peninsula. He's the one who brought all of the tribes of Quraysh to Makkah. Why? For the Kaaba, because Kaaba was there, and he started to host, and he started the tradition of taking care of the Hajjis. Okay, by the way, Hajj has been going on since the time of Ismail alayhi salam. Remember the dua in Surah Al-Baqarah, where Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam, they both made the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, teach us the rights of how to worship. You're asking us to build this house, we built this house, please accept this from us and teach us, wa arina manasikana, and show us the manasik, right? The rights and the rituals. Hajj started then, has been happening every year since 4,000 years ago. Hajj has been happening every year for the past 4,000 years. Mind-blowing, okay? Keep that of our deen. Okay, so Qusay bin Kilab, he was the one who brought all the tribes of Quraysh to Mecca, and he started to take care of the pilgrims. Abd Manaf, who was the son of Qusay, 430 AD, again became a chieftain of the Quraysh. He also, in his father's tradition, started to take care of the pilgrims. Okay, Hashim bin Abd Manaf, Banu Hashim, Hashimi, Hashim, the great-grandfather of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hashim. Okay, why was he called Hashim? Some people say he used to grind wheat. And he was a Hashim, he was a wheat grinder, because he used to do that for the pilgrims. He used to feed them, make bread for them, and what have you. Hashim. Okay, so he was the one who also became the chieftain of the Quraysh in Mecca, took care of the pilgrims just like his forefathers did, and he's the one that is understood to be رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت. You know that? What is رحلة الشتاء والصيف? What is that? What does that mean? So, Egypt is right here, right? Egypt. Arabian Peninsula, this is Sinai Peninsula, this is the Red Sea, this is their This is the Arabian Peninsula. Okay, I'm not going to draw the rest, but you get it. Yeah, I hope you get the idea. Everybody with me? My poor drawing skills. Makkah. All right. Middle of the desert. Anything growing in Makkah? Nothing. Wadi zi zar. غير ذي زرع. Okay. غير ذي زرع. A valley that has no vegetation. These are the words of the Quran. Okay. Where was vegetation? Where? Down here, up here. Okay. What does shita mean? You all can read Arabic, right? Shita. You can read that? Saif? Shita means winter. Saif means summer. Okay? Rihla means what? Journey. Rihla, shita, saif. The journey of winter and summer. The Arabs, how did they get food? How did they trade? So the Hajis are coming, right, from all over. The pilgrims are coming. They're bringing things. That's fine. That's one way that they did business, was they bought and sold goods during the Hajj season, including why was the Hajis coming? Because of the Kaaba, right? Whether they consider themselves, they're not Muslims or whatever, they just revert, right? It became a place of reverence, right, for all of Arabia. So people used to come from far and wide places to visit the Kaaba during the Hajj season. Idol worship began. That's how 360 plus came in. It was a tourism ploy, right? They wanted more supplies and money and economy to boost the economy. So that's why the idols were there. It was their source. If you take the idols away, nobody would want to come to Mecca. No. You understand? So it was an economic factor. Okay. But guys, to actually do business, how did they do business? Hashim, it's understood, got the idea that during the winter time, when it's cold, they're going to go to the south and trade here and do business. They're going to take their goods, whatever they had, whatever they made up, like cloths or here, and then in return they got food and other merchandise, and back up, right? And during the summertime, when it's hot, they used to go up to the Syria area, do the trade here, meet with the Silk Route, right? Coming over there became the mall of the world. So Rasulullah ﷺ even went there. Okay, so that's where the trade happened. So this is called Rihla wa Shita'i wa Sayf. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does he say in the surah? لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ, for the benefit, rough translation, for the benefit of the Quraysh. رحلة الشتاء لإلاف قريش إلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in the mind of the Quraysh that they should do these journeys. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So now do the worship of the Lord of the house, worship the Lord of the house, not the idols. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ. Allah says, He is the one who fed you. Had no food. He gave you the idea of the journey from the winter to the summer and winter journey. Right? أطعمكم من جوع أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. And He protected them when they were scared. Okay, we will talk about that as well. Okay. General idea of why. Okay. I hope you understand why it's important to understand that. All right, so now extremely powerful. Hashim, he started it. He's taking care of, so Abdul-Muttalib. You've all heard of Abdul-Muttalib, right? The son of Hashim. What Muttalib, again, he became the chieftain of the Quraysh. So Quraysh in Mecca, lots of tribes. Who is the chief of all those tribes? Abdul Muttalib. Why? Because of his lineage. Of who actually made Mecca what Mecca is. Understand? So he's considered the leader of all. Okay, and he was from Banu Hashim. Okay, now he was the one who rediscovered Zamzam. Zamzam was hidden, got rediscovered. I'm sorry. I will have a tendency to go into details. Stop me, because we want to keep moving really fast. He rediscovered Zamzam. It was hidden. He defended from Abraha, the Yemeni, the commander who came to attack. Okay, like everybody is coming to the Kaaba for Hajj. Why aren't they coming to this wonderful church that we have built? It's so beautiful. So he went and wanted to destroy Kaaba. So Abraha, right? The story of the elephants and everything like that. Who was there protecting the elephant? Or protecting from the army of the elephants? Everybody in their head, of course it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But why was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protecting Mecca and the Kaaba? So after that, the event of the elephants, everybody is like, oh man, Quraysh are special. Abdul Muttalib is special. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected Mecca from the attack of Abraha. Okay, lots of other elements there too. Abdul Muttalib had 10 sons. Okay, and he had a lot of wives. As you can imagine, there was Fatima, there was Nutayla, there's Hala, Samra, Lubni. Okay, so the wife Fatima of Abdul Muttalib, it was Abu Talib, came from him, and Abdullah, the father of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was from Fatima and Abdul Muttalib. Okay, you understand? Okay, who were these? Are all the immediate siblings, right? Zubair, Hakim, Baida, Atiqa, okay, Arwa, Barra. Okay, then Abbas. We talked about Ibn Abbas, the son of Abbas, radiyallahu anhuma. So Abbas was the brother of Abdullah, right? The stepbrother of Abdullah, right? From a different mother, brother from a different mother, right? This is all brothers and sisters from a different mother. Okay, Abu Lahab, look at that. Abu Lahab, a different wife. Abu Lahab was also the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from a wife named Lubni. His actual name, so Abu Lahab was his kunya, but his actual name is Abdul Uzza. Okay. I wanted you to understand, like, all of these figures are important. Hamza radiyallahu anhu. Have you heard of Hamza? Right. Hey, different mother, Hala. Okay. Abdul Muttalib, Abdullah bin Abdul Muttalib. Now let's talk about Abdullah. Why is he special? He was the smartest son. There's some stories about him. I don't want to go into a lot of detail. He married Amina bint Wahab bin Abd Manaf. Now they're connecting. They're connected where? At okay. And her tribe was called Banu Zahra. That's why people say Amina. Desi people, what do they say? Amina Zahra, right? Why? Zahra was not her last name. She was from the tribe. Okay? They're connected where? At Abd Manaf. Okay? So Abdullah, he was on his way back from Syria, and in Medina he fell sick and he died. Okay? So that's when he died. Amina and Abdullah were very young. They were like in their late teens. They were like understood to be, like some say Abdullah was like 25 or 22 or 20 or something like that. Amina, she was probably really, really young, like 17, 16. We don't know. Okay? Very young. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is born on the year of the elephant. So when the army attacked, the same year, Similar time frame, 570 AD, 571 AD. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is born. It was the tradition of the Arabs to actually send their children to neighboring tribes, smaller tribes. So Makkah was a metropolis, right? It was a big city, right? But there were, on the countryside, there were tribes as well, okay? Like the tribe of Banu Sa'd. Banu Sa'd was there. I don't think I have it written down somewhere. Yes, Banu Sa'd was there. So they used to, before I talk about that. So it was a tradition, you know how we send our kids to boarding schools to get better education, same concept. So they used to send their children to